Did you know that in the 17th century, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was one of the most powerful countries in Europe? At its largest point, comprised of nearly 400,000 square miles and some 11 million inhabitants, spreading from the Baltic in the north all the way to Black Sea in the south. As such, it was a multi-ethnic and multi-faith country, inhabited by Poles, Lithuanians, Russians, Germans, Jews, by Catholics and Protestants, Eastern Orthodox and Muslims. And yet, in 1795, it suddenly ceased to exist, conquered and partitioned by its three neighbors, Russia, Prussia, and Austria. For the following 123 years, until 1918, people were born and died without any hope of having their own independent country again. However, despite living under brutal occupants that tried to erase Polish culture and identity, despite not knowing for certain if things will ever get better again, despite not having any guarantees that Poland will eventually be reborn, they did what was right. They cultivated Polish language and culture. They remained faithful to their ideals. I talk about Polish history today because sometimes it is being compared to the biblical story of Job from today's first reading. Now, before I go any further, it needs to be said that virtually all modern Bible scholars agree today that the book of Job is not a history, but a story. It is not a description of events that factually took place, but rather a metaphor, a religious and moral meditation. So in this story, God had allowed Satan to test Job's faithfulness. In an instant, Job lost all his wealth, his children, and he himself became a leper. His best friends, awkwardly trying to help him, made things even worse by asking, "What have you done to deserve all such tragedies? God must surely be punishing you for something, otherwise it all makes no sense whatsoever." In the first reading assigned for this Sunday, we catch the poor, sick, but faithful Job sitting on a pile of manure and reflecting on the mystery of pain and suffering. All the questions that we ask ourselves when something terrible happens, Job did ask. Why am I sick? Why did my child die? Why did I lose all my savings? Why bad things happen to good people? Why does a good God allow evil to exist? In amazing and uncharacteristic to fairy tales honesty, Job admits to himself that he may never have a satisfying answer. Job does not offer simplistic answers or cheap platitudes, but instead he acknowledges that the night drags on, and he may never see the sunrise or make sense out of it all. Such a brutal, intellectual, and religious honesty does not stop Job from doing what was right, from acknowledging God's control and trusting God's love. As a hospice chaplain, practically on a daily basis, I wish I could offer some answers to difficult, often heartbreaking questions. Why is my mother, who never smoked a cigarette in her life, dying from lung cancer? What sense does it make that after I came to this country to give my children a better and safe life, now I have to watch my son die before me? Why is my twin brother enjoying his fourth marriage while I am dying a lonely widower? Unfortunately, just like the biblical Job, I have no answer. Just like Job, all I can do is sit and acknowledge that someone much larger than I, is in control of this universe. Just like Job, I can hold my friend's hand and place my trust in God. On the pages of the Gospels, including this Sunday's passage, we hear of Jesus healing the sick. However, no one ever mentions the fact that all these people, miraculously healed by Jesus, died one day anyway. Even Lazarus died again. Even Jesus, God's beloved Son, suffered pain and died. And while with Job, we have to acknowledge the dark hours of our human existence, with Jesus, we can look forward to a dawn of new life. Amen.